Yeah, no, it has been, and you'll be surprised to hear that I'm still bullish, and I
Shocking.
maintained that stance. Yeah, this entire week. And Monday was tough. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was, I was even listening to the show Monday morning when things were getting pretty bad. But I was kind of maintaining that bullish stance and actually adding on that pullback. I know it looked bad, but I think part of the kind of ability to take advantage of those times of stress when you have conviction are also a reflection of how you're doing in the market. So for me, even though the first 15 days or so of September were pretty much down almost every day. I think the first 1 or 2 days of September were modestly up, and then we were down maybe 7 out of 9 days, or 8 out of 10 days, depending on what index you're looking at. During the early part of September, mid part of September, but my personal account was at all-time highs the Friday before last Friday, basically before that bad break on Monday. So I was just simply in sync with the market, or my stocks were acting okay, even in a pretty difficult market. So it's kind of like playing poker. If you've got all the chips on your side, you can place more bets, you can take a little more risk, and not play kind of cagey. So, and I'm a terrible poker player, by the way. So I'm using that reference, but I'm not a good poker player.
That's-
Um,
So you saw Monday as an opportunity then, instead
yeah,
of a duck and cover moment.
exactly. And again, it's because I have a lot of cushion and I'm having a good year. And yeah, I was able to I mean, I had a horrible day on that day. I mean, my account was down, close to 9% on that day because I'm on margin. So it was a really bad day. But again, going into the day, I'm having a very good year, so I could handle that.
So then what was your reaction during that time? So if your portfolio was down 9%, were there positions that you were trimming, or were your stocks holding above key support levels that you were watching, and again, it was more of an opportunity to buy,
Yeah.
or a lot of meditating with the portfolio
Yeah.
down
So let
9%?
me talk. So let me talk about first why I've maintained that bullish stance. And so when I was on the show in August 20th, if you remember, we were also coming down. So we were right at that point. So it seems like I always get to come on the show like at a bottom, or at least what turns out to be a bottom in hindsight. So if you recall, I was my thesis at the time was there was way too much bearishness, and everyone was talking about how bad things were and how we're going into September and we haven't had a 5% correction, and you couldn't find anybody to take the opposite end of that. And for me, I'm very contrary as a trader, and I'm just naturally built that way. And when I can't find anyone who's positive, usually the market is not going to cooperate and go down. So at the time, if you recall, I talked about a few of the contraindicators or secondary indicators that were giving me confidence that things were not as bad as they actually seemed. One was you did an IBD poll right around that time, I think the day before, and there were, on your IBD poll, there were 11% bulls, 44% bears, which is pretty bad in the IBD community. I mean, that's pretty negative. You had the AAII sentiment indicator. The bulls were 33%, the bears were 35%. Pretty negative. I mean, more bears than bulls. Investors Intelligence survey was not incredibly bearish, but it wasn't incredibly bullish either. It was very moderate, the levels that we were at. We had a little spike in the VIX. The VIX was peaking or spiked around 25. And we had this really, that proverbial wall of worry was quite prominent. We have the COVID Delta variant, possible Fed tightening, inflation scares, COVID delaying the recovery. There's geopolitical risks. This is right when we were fully pulling out of Afghanistan and the Taliban was taking over. So we had some stress in the Mideast. There's been some stress in China, possible tax policy. So there was a lot to be worried about. And yet the market, although it was coming off, in that mid later part of August, around the 20th, that's nothing. We were down a few percent. So with all that bad news, why is the market holding in so well and staying above the 50-day? So that was my thesis then. So fast forward to this past week, and this is when I'll do it. I'll go over all those same elements and see where we are. So we did an IBD poll. You did the poll, or someone did the poll on Wednesday. And you asked, are you concerned about the market?
Yeah.
47% were somewhat concerned, 25% very concerned, 20% mildly concerned. So if you just take the top two, that's what, over 70% are concerned about the market. If you look at the AAII sentiment survey, so now I'm going to try doing that screen share. So let me know if this
Go
works.
for it.
Okay, so do you see anything?
Not yet. So
Okay,
there's you'll see a green new share button.
All right, hold on. Let me do this.
At the
I'm
bottom
going
of
to put
your
you on
Zoom.
the. I have some multiple monitors, so let me try this. Okay, host disable participant screen sharing. So did you disable that?
No, I think you might be on a different button, but if I'll stop my share and maybe it'll make it easier for you. So you see the way, this is how the sausage is made, folks. Okay, so you see the window where it's the four of us. No, it's all good. And see at the bottom where there's a green button that says share screen. Okay, click on that.
I do.
And then you,
and what pops up is host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, so then that's my bad. I need to make you I thought I made you co-host. Now you are a co-host. So that's on me. Now you should be able to do it.
All right, so let me figure out which monitor we're going to look at here. Okay, do you see something? Do you see like my screen?
Not yet. I think there's a blue button that you once you select what you want to share, there you go. Okay, yeah, now we can see your entire
excellent desktop. So now I'm going to tell me if this works. If this doesn't work, do you see Wanda?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
There we go.
Okay, this is great. Okay,
great.
So sorry for this little.
No, I was equally.
Okay, so first I'm going to go here. So now this is the AAII survey. So we were at like 35% bearish, 32% bullish in August 20th. Look what it went down to September 15th. I don't know if you can see my cursor moving. 22% bullish, 39% bearish. That is really negative. It hasn't been that negative in quite some time. I think you have to go back to either early this year or even last year to like those are pretty